Alright, so want to do a short video, my thoughts on the whole microtransaction shit in Payday 2. Basically everyone's freaking out, so I can't escape it, especially on the damn forums because it's complete trash right now. There's people bitching and whining about microtransactions and lying and betrayal and all that garbage. So basically, Overkill released microtransactions in Payday 2. First mistake was releasing that on the first day of Crimefest. It was a fucking terrible mistake. I'm pretty sure I know why they did it. It's a sleazy reason. But basically, releasing that day one soiled the entire event for everyone. Not for everyone. I still enjoy the updates, but everyone on the fucking forums just keep crying about updates. Be like, oh, they're just releasing buggy updates and things that should have been there day one. Like a new heist that was even thought of until this fucking crime fest. But people are stupid, and I can't stress that point enough. Basically, the biggest slap in the face for me was that they released this with a weapon rebalance and with no like leading up to it. There was no talk about it. There's no hints to it. They said microtransactions, weapon rebalance, have it, fucking deal with it. And then day 6 comes around and they realize that the community has shit all over Payday. I think it was a 97% approval rating on Steam. Now it's down to 79, if I'm not mistaken. That's at this point, as this video is made or whatever. Basically, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Oh yeah, right. Skins. They have stat boosts. They're not as bad as people make it out to be. It's not like they're insanely overpowered weapons or some shit. They just have like +2 stability or +1 damage or some shit like that. Like a regular mod would have. It's not like, oh, you got this legendary weapon, now that's the only weapon you're ever using. Because the weapon rebalance wasn't that bad. Made all the weapons basically usable. Like I never used the M308 or the fucking gun from Kane Lynch, just a SIG 552 that they have in there. Never used it. It's still not the greatest weapon, but it has a fuck ton of ammo. I think the most ammo for an assault rifle. Anyway, basically people were pissed off about that. They're like, oh, why'd you add stat boosts to the skins? That's like pay to win. And then they forget that it's a co-op game and you're not fighting players, you're cooperating, so it's beneficial to the entire crew. But people are stupid, and I stress that point again. Basically for the stat boosts, they aren't that important. And then people will say, then why put them in the game if they're not important? Why just leave them the same? And I'm not gonna stress the point again. Basically, they should have did day 6 where they allowed the drills to be dropped on cards on day 1, but I'm pretty sure they didn't, so that this whole backlash over day 1 will feel kind of quelled or held back. I think maybe quelled was probably the best word for it. Basically to make the community feel like they did something with all of the negative reviews and all the bad press and all that. Like, oh, we'll just make the drills droppable, you win guys. But they pretty much just anchored themselves on their own decision of microtransactions. I'm pretty sure droppable drills was a thought because they knew microtransactions will cause this kind of a fuss. And they held it off to the day 6 so that people feel like they accomplished something. It's a smart move, I'll respect them for that, but it's a fucking sleazy as shit move. But it's a business and you have to make money, and microtransactions fucking work. They work wonders for free games. Like, every free game. Fucking Fallout Shelter had the same premise. You were able to get lunchboxes through challenges. They gave you free ones in some updates as well. Basically, you didn't have to buy lunchboxes at all, but they still made fucking bank off of that, and it's a great idea. Just people hate the term microtransactions because they feel like they provide either an unfair advantage or no advantage, and you're like, oh, these are pointless. I know some games like Evolve had microtransactions, and it was a $60 game, and you buy skins and monsters, and everything was separated. They might as well have made that game free to play. That would have made the game somewhat of a success, since there's no one playing that game anymore, or on the day of launch for that matter. It was a shit game. But for me, the biggest gripe, I think, for the safe contents at least, is When you open one, you get a random gun skin with the boost or whatever, and they're cataloged as like worn, legendary, so on and so forth. But the shit is that if you're a new player, you get one of these safes, and you decide to buy a drill, you unlock the safe, and you get a weapon for a DLC you don't own. And you have to buy that DLC in order to use that skin. It's fucked up, and that's one thing I really don't like about this update. It, before the DLC was like, oh cool, I like Western themed weapons, let me buy the Western pack. And if you wanted the DLC, you bought it. If you didn't need it or you didn't want it, it wasn't shoved in your face. This shoves it in your face. It's like, you spent all this time grinding for a safe and a drill from these drops, or you bought a drill. You're fucked. You need to buy $5 worth of DLC in order to use your special drop. And that is a terrible fucking idea. But I don't see a way around it unless they implement like a, what's the term? This is a system where basically it doesn't drop DLC weapons, but the bad thing about implementing a system like that is if it registers that you don't have DLC and then it picks that way, people can just say, oh, I just got my drill, let me disable all the other DLCs except for the assault pack so I can get the skin I want. It'll lower my, will raise my chances of getting the skin I want, and people will do it that way. It's a cheap tactic, it will work because it's how it fucking works. But that's probably something we'll want to avoid, because then people will just keep doing that the entire time, which isn't a bad thing. You'll still have a shit chance of getting a legendary weapon. I think it's like a 0.01 chance, so like 1 out of 1,000 or some shit. That's Reddit math, don't check me on that, because I have not done the numbers myself. And that's if you get a drill, because they haven't released the actual chances of dropping one of those drills yet, which is pretty shady. I have to say that it's pretty shady of them. But unlike the rest of the entire forums that are just completely bitching, I do enjoy the rest of Crimefest. The Aftershock heist, I like that a lot. A lot of people don't, but I'm going to assume that's just them being crybabies again. Because it's a good heist. It's very, I wouldn't say extravagant, but it's well made. It's not like a Golden Grin Casino extravagant, but it's nice to see a setting like that in this kind of game. It's kind of a war-torn, well, it's disaster-torn, not war-torn, but still, it's a nice map. And First World Bank came back, I think, what, day 6? That was really good. I feel like they changed the AI for that, because there's a lot more cops on that one. It's a lot more intense. I did it on hard or very hard, and I had trouble moving bags, so that's a good sign. And that, along with the Le Castlevania, not very big fan of his name, but the music's pretty sick, and I wasn't expecting much from that reward. I was like, new music, but he has his own kind of flair to his music, and I like it a lot. It's very dark, very intense and jumpy. It's nice. But yeah, it's not nearly as bad as people make out to be. It's bad, but it's not game breaking. I'm not gonna quit the game. But most of the people I see saying that are either people who put in a fuck ton of time into it and they don't like anything changed because then they're not as good as they think they are, or it's the people on like the free 10-day trial, or people who have like less than 100 hours complaining, and they're the ones who complain the most. Like, Overkill is supposed to bend their will for people who just picked up the game. Granted, sure, equality and all that of players, but still, I don't really see them understanding how the game works, considering me and other people who've been here since Payday 1 and the launch of Payday 2. We've seen it change, and I don't want to say grow for lack of cliche, but yeah, it's been a journey. This is another. You did some crazy shit, like the John Wick thing from last year. They were like, oh, John Wick? Why are they putting him in this game? This is bullshit. They're just promoting a stupid movie. This movie's gonna be bad. And then John Wick was one of the best action films that year. So it's just another one of those fucking shits. And I blame this on Gamergate, obviously, because now gamers have a voice. It's all your fault, Gamergate. Hashtag stop Gamergate 2015 to 2016. Whatever, I'm done. I'm rambling now, and I'm just really fucking tired of this and the forums, and I'm just gonna play some more games and shit. So I will catch you later. Alright, so funny enough, I got one of these Crimefest safes as soon as I got done grabbing that footage. So yeah, that's irony and things. Yeah, whatever, I'm done.